Good morning, folks. Now, if you are like me and you have been reading all the latest articles on the best supplement for X, Y, or Z, and you're wondering, should I take that? Or if you've been staring at a wall of bottles in the store, supplements, and looking at all of the range and thinking, what the heck do I buy and how much do I take? Then this video is for you, because I am going to give you 5 questions to ask when you're buying supplements to work out what is right for you. All right, so let's crack on. This is probably one of the questions that I get the most, is about supplements and, what do I buy? What brand do I get? What dose do I take? Is this supplement really necessary? So hopefully these 5 questions will help you to figure this out. And if you ask these questions before you buy any supplements, it can really stop you wasting a whole lot of time, energy, and money, right? So question number 1 is, really importantly, do I actually need this, right? Because I think we do a lot of reading, and even I talk a lot about different supplements, different vitamins, different nutrients that could be beneficial or have been shown to be beneficial for mood and brain health and cognition and depression, anxiety and gut health and the whole lot. And the first question you need to ask is, do I actually need this? And the only way that we can really figure this out is through the right tests and assessments. All right, and this can include whether you have genetic predispositions to lack of certain nutrients, or genetic predispositions to poor methylation or something like that, where you may it may be indicated that you need support for those areas. It could be blood tests. So, for example, vitamin D, there is really incredibly strong links between adequate vitamin D and mood, mental health, hormonal health, immune health, cognition. But do you really need that? And the only way to figure that out is to test your vitamin D levels and see whether you are deficient or not. If you're not deficient, then vitamin D is not going to be any good for you, right? It's going to be a waste of your money, because you're fine. That's not an issue. So the right tests or assessments where there aren't tests to do is really, really important. All right. So don't just kind of dive into a supplement and start taking it because you read an article that said it might be useful, or even a friend used it and said it was really beneficial for them. You are not them. Your body is not their body. Your diet is not the same. Your lifestyle is not the same. And, your genetics are not the same. So what you need is going to be very unique. And the way to answer this question, do I actually need this, is through the right tests and assessments. So that's a really, really important place to start. If you've determined, yes, you do actually need this, right? You're low in vitamin D, or you're low in, EPA and DHA, or you're low in magnesium, or whatever it might be. Question number 2 is, again, really important. Can I get this from food? Am I really maxing out my food sources of this particular thing, right? And this kind of goes obviously more so for vitamins and minerals, less so, herbs and things like that. But for vitamins and minerals, we should always be thinking food first, right? Food first always. Supplements should be used, a little bit like we think of medications, therapeutic, short-term ideally, or topping up what you can't get from food. So before you add in a supplement, it's usually going to be much more effective, both and cost effective, and effective for your body, to get that from a food source if possible. So for example, magnesium, right? Are you filling your day with lots of really magnesium-rich foods, pumpkin seeds, almonds, cashews, avocados, bit of dark chocolate? All of these things are really, really rich in magnesium. So before you reach for a supplement, ask yourself if there is anything better you can do in your diet or your lifestyle in order to meet this need, right? Because that's our baseline, and that should be our first port of call always. And then supplements either while we work on these changes, or if we've already really maxed out those food sources and we're still deficient, then yes, maybe, a supplement is the best option. So can I get this from food, or am I maxing out my food sources, is the second really important question to ask. The third question is it the right form or source of this particular nutrient, right? So if you're looking at a particular supplement, we want to make sure that you are taking the right form or type of nutrient in the supplement form that is necessary for you. So again, magnesium is a brilliant example because there are so many different supplemental forms of magnesium, and they all have really different uses, different benefits, and different pros and cons. So for example, magnesium oxide is one that you will find a lot, right? A lot of the supplements you'll find, especially the cheaper brand ones, will have a decent amount of magnesium oxide in it. And it might look great. You look at that and go, oh my gosh, there's so much magnesium in this supplement and it's really cheap. But often it's too good to be true. And the problem with magnesium oxide is that it is cheap, it is really available, and it is easy to find, but it is really poorly absorbed. So that magnesium in that supplement, you're not actually going to be absorbing most of that magnesium. What happens is that magnesium is bound to an oxide. And when it gets into the gut, it doesn't get absorbed very easily. It doesn't get broken apart so the magnesium can be absorbed. So it actually draws a lot of water and fluid to the bowels, because if the body can't absorb it, then it needs to get rid of it. So it draws a lot of water in there and then gets rid of it, right? So magnesium oxide is fantastic if you're a little bit bunged up, you're a bit constipated, and you want to get your bowels moving, because it will actually encourage your bowels to move. And people will often find side effects like, diarrhea from taking magnesium oxide, and they'll think magnesium's useless, it doesn't work. But it's just because it's that form of magnesium, right? Whereas magnesium in other forms, there are so many, right? There's magnesium malate, there's magnesium glycinate, magnesium citrate, all sorts of stuff, magnesium threonate. They all have different uses because that magnesium is bound to something. And it's that something that kind of determines how it's used and transported and absorbed in the body. So, for example, some of those forms will cross the blood-brain barrier and get into the brain, which is really important if you're wanting to use magnesium for things like stress and sleep and mood and cognition. Some are like magnesium malate is really great for muscular pain and fatigue, because that malic acid that it's bound to helps to improve our muscular function and relieve pain. So there's all these different forms. Magnesium is not just magnesium. It's bound to all of these different other things. And what form it's in can really dictate the benefits that you get from it and whether it's the right one for you. Okay. So they all work differently. Getting the right form is really important. Form takes another meaning as well. When we look at, is the supplement actually in the right form for us? Again, magnesium. You can get tablets, you can get capsules, or you can get powder, right? Or you can get oils and sprays and all sorts of stuff. What form of delivery is right for you? And this will depend on a few things, whether you've got any allergies, how good your gut absorption is, whether you want to avoid other, ingredients in there. That form is really important because tablets versus powders will have different actions. One needs to be broken down more than the other, and they will have different cost effectiveness as well. But a powder you have to put in water and drink, you might not like that. So is it the right form for you? Okay, that is really important, that form of delivery as well as the form of the actual nutrient. And we're talking about the source. Is it the right source? Again, this kind of comes down to both your goals and your personal values. So a lot of tablets, for example, might have a lot of additives in there. They might have, allergens or things that you're trying to avoid. So that's not going to be the best source for you, the source of those excipients. But what's important to you as well? Is it important that it's an organic or a natural source? Is it important that it's sustainably sourced, right? So things like fish oils, is sustainability important to you? If you're looking at collagen powders or protein powders, things from animal products, perhaps, are they sourced from organic, grass-fed, free-range animals, or are they sourced from farmed animals? Is that important to you to know that difference? Or do you want a plant-based version rather than an animal-based version if you're vegan or vegetarian? So the source is an important consideration as well. Is it the right source for you on a physiological level? And is it the right source for you with regards to your personal values and your morals and what's important to you? So that's question number 3. Is it the right form and source? And that's quite a big question to ask. Next question, number 4, is what are the other ingredients, right? And I just mentioned a little bit there about, tablets versus powders. There's pros and cons with all of these. Tableting will have other ingredients in there in order to form them into a tablet. Powders tend to have less other ingredients. But then powders sometimes, because they get mixed in water, they need to have flavors or colors and things like that to make them more appealing and attractive to drink. So what are the other ingredients? This is really important to ask. And again, from a health perspective, are those ingredients harmful to our health? Some tableting agents like magnesium stearate and some other things aren't as great for us. And it's also really important to check not just the active ingredients, but all of the other ingredients to check that if you're on any medication, there's no interactions with those. So looking at the ingredients list, seeing if it's full of fillers and additives and colors and what have you, or whether it's just a really natural product. Capsules are usually better than tablets because they're a bit easier. You don't need all those tableting agents. But equally, capsules, they may be animal-sourced gelatin or plant-sourced. So what are those other ingredients in all of the areas of the supplement, and do they align with your health goals and your personal goals as well? And finally, question number 5, another really, really important one. Is it the right dosage or strength? Okay, so again, if we use magnesium as an example, you can find a huge array of magnesium supplements. Some of them will have about 10 milligrams of magnesium, and others will have up to 400 milligrams of magnesium. That's a big difference, right? And we need to get a little bit savvy with reading labels around supplements, just as much as we need to get savvy with reading labels around food. So we need to understand that, sometimes the amount is labeled as the full particle, so the magnesium bound to whatever it's bound to. And that might look really great, but actually, once you get rid of that, whatever it's bound to, the amount of magnesium, actual magnesium left is quite low, whereas others will label how much actual magnesium is in there. So we need to make sure we know what we're looking at on these labels, first of all, and then also making sure that we're buying a supplement that has the right dosage or strength for us. Because I think there's a bit of a misconception as well that supplements are, either, harmless, or because a lot of them are food sourced or food based, or they're just vitamins or minerals, that you can just take whatever and it will help. Supplements still have therapeutic ranges, especially when you're taking them for a specific condition, which you should be, right? So if you're taking, even something a bit more intense, something like 5-HTP or GABA or something like that for mood conditions, the dosage you take is crucial to your experience with that supplement. Take too little and you won't get any effect, and you'll probably be wasting your money. You'll write it off as useless. Take too much and you can get some serious side effects. And again, you'll think that's supplement's useless. It made me feel terrible. So the power is in the dosage. And we need to be really sure that we're getting savvy with label reading and that we know what dosage is right for us. Because again, what's right for another person won't be right for you. Coming back to things like, vitamin D, someone might be just a little bit deficient and they might be okay taking, 1,000 IUs a day. Someone else might be drastically deficient and they need to take 4,000-5,000 IUs a day, right? The dosage is very individual, it's very therapeutic, and it really needs to be properly assessed from what you figured out in question 1, which is, do I actually need this, right? The tests and the assessments that you undertook there will help to guide you as to what dosage and strength of supplement that you actually need. And it's really important that we're not just talking about a matter of, how many capsules do I take a day? Because each supplement you pull off the shelf will have an entirely different microgram or milligram or gram amount of nutrient in there. So if your friend was taking 2 capsules of her product, you don't necessarily need to take 2 capsules of your product if it's a different product, right? You need to make sure you're looking a lot more closely at the actual ingredients, the milligrams, the micrograms, the exact strength of the nutrient you're looking at, and getting the right dosage for you. All right. So that is my 5 questions to help you narrow down or help guide you towards the right supplement choices. All right. So just a quick recap. Number 1 is, do I actually need this? Number 2 is, can I get this from food, or am I maxing out my food sources? Number 3, is it the right source or the right form of nutrient and the right form of delivery? Capsules, powders, tablets, etc. Question 4 is, what are the other ingredients that are in here, and do they align with my goals and my values? And question 5 is it the right dosage or strength, right? Am I taking the right amount therapeutically for my particular needs? That will help you really stop wasting a whole lot of money on supplements or taking the wrong ones, having adverse effects, and getting, really unpleasant effects or side effects from, or no effects at all from your supplements. And I'm going to give you a bonus. The bonus question, I guess, or the bonus step is to make sure that you are rechecking your levels, right? So retesting, retaking your assessments, reassessing your symptoms to see if that supplement is actually working, right? Because there should be a plan in place for using your supplements. They should be there to get you into optimal levels. So vitamin D, for example, right? If you're low, great, work out the right dosage and take it. But then you should be retesting to make sure that you're actually absorbing, your levels are actually increasing, and you're actually getting the benefits that you need from taking that supplement. This will also help you stop taking the supplement when you don't need it anymore, so you don't waste money, or again, don't go into these, toxic or overdose effects. So not all supplements you should be on forever, and definitely your dose needs will change as your situation changes and as your life, situation goes through, and as you're on supplements for different lengths of time, your needs will change. So it's really important to have like a 6th step in there, not a question so much as just a step of recheck, retest your levels, redo your symptom analysis, your assessments, see if that supplement's actually working for you, whether there's something different you should be trying, whether it's time to stop, whether it's time to increase the dosage or decrease the dosage. All right. So those are my 5 questions and a bonus tip for you for helping you to clear away some of this confusion around supplements and what's right for you, whether you should take it, which one you should buy, and how you determine a decent supplement from a rubbish supplement. I hope that has been helpful for you guys. If you have any queries about this, drop them in the comments below, and I would love to hear from you. I will be back again shortly, as usual, with another little video tip for you on something else really useful in the next week or so. All right, bye for now.